Watershed shift in policy.
Earnings season's getting underway, with some of the country's top companies revealing their performance for the past year. It's been a tough period for many, with a tighter investment climate and rising costs squeezing revenues. And while some sectors will be showing a weaker performance, there are winners too. I spoke to Prasad Koparkar, Senior Director at CRISIL Research, and began by asking him what we can expect from this year's earnings.
We have looked at about a sample of about 227 companies spanning 26 sectors, and our prognosis is that clearly revenue growth is declining. If you look at year on year for last 6 quarters, the revenue growth has come down from 30% to just about 15 to 16%, and which is a very, very sharp deceleration. I think this is linked to the overall decline in GDP growth as well. So on the revenue side, we are seeing a very sharp slowdown. Even on the margin front, we are seeing a continued pressure.
Who do you think are the main losers? Which specific sectors?
I think the key losers are in spaces which are linked to the macroeconomy in terms of, say, commodities, in terms of metals, in terms of infrastructure. That is where I think the highest slowdown we are seeing. As opposed to that, if you look at sectors like IT, pharma, even telecom, I would think the revenue growth will be much healthier.
You mentioned there some sectors which have been strongly performing, such as IT and pharma. Why have these areas been successful?
See, I think pharma and IT are much less domestic dependent. If you look at IT, for example, Indian IT companies derive a very large part of their revenues from global markets. And despite the slowdown in the global economy overall, we believe that the IT budgets have not seen a big slash. If you look at Jan to March 11, rupee was at 45 rupees and now it is at 49. So it still is about 8 to 9% depreciation. So it helps sectors like pharma and IT, which draw substantial earning from exports.
And what's your outlook on the year ahead? Will it be any better for companies?
Things don't look very pretty. I think global uncertainties will continue. So my sense is that on the top line growth, we are not expecting a big acceleration, barring few sectors where there were structural issues which are getting sorted out.
And what might be the knock-on effects for employees and companies in general if revenues are reducing?
If I look at FY13, our prognosis is that again, achieving 14-15% growth itself is going to be a challenge. And that has impact also obviously on individuals, because companies are looking at cutting costs. The salary hike this year is going to be much more muted across most of the sectors.
Now let's take a look at some of the other business news stories which have been making the headlines here this week.